All right. Thanks, Rich, and good afternoon, and thank you everyone for hopping on today. I hope for those that are local, you all stay warm and safe over the next few days. We're here to announce the signing of Chris Martin. I'm excited to welcome Chris and his family back home to a place they're all quite familiar with. As we talked about throughout the offseason, upgrading our bullpen has been a priority, and to bring in somebody with Chris's experience and accomplishments was a great win for us. So excited to welcome him back and happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
All right, we'll open it up. Start off with Sean.
Hey Ross. So I think you guys have now signed or traded for six relievers this offseason. Do you guys feel like that's enough? Do you still feel like you need to go and get more? I know you always want more pitching, but how do you guys kind of feel about where things stand right now?
Yeah, Sean, I think you can never have enough pitching. That's been stated many times before. But I think we feel like we've done the bulk of our lifting at this point, but we're always going to look for ways in which we can upgrade the club further. So we're going to continue to be open-minded and creative, but we feel like we've done a lot of heavy lifting so far, and we've put this team in a good spot and built out the pen quite well. And we're looking forward to seeing these guys get into 2025.
All right, Kennedy.
Hi, Ross. I guess with Chris Martin specifically, what I guess stuck out to, I guess he's a familiar face, obviously, but for you guys, what stuck out about kind of bringing him back here as well?
Sure. Yeah, Kennedy. I think a couple things. First of all, familiarity with the person and the competitor that he is, knowing Chris for a long time. Excited to bring him back, knowing that he wanted to be here, I think was a big part of it as well, and just that familiarity. But in terms of the on-field performance, I think it's been, one of the one of the best or better relievers over the last 3 years in terms of performance. Consistent theme. He's an elite strike thrower. He's pitched late games, leverage. He's finished games. He's pitched in a variety of roles, and he's as consistent and reliable as any reliever that we thought was available in the free agent market, and we were excited to add him to the group.
I think he only has, I think, 14 saves in his career, but is he a guy, you guess, maybe more of a Boch question, but is he a guy you guys can see closing out games in 25?
Yeah, I think it probably is more of a Boch and staff question as we get going into camp. I think our goal was to add as many guys as possible with leverage experience and ultimately let that sort itself out as we get into camp and a little bit closer to breaking for the season. But, Chris, I think is certainly capable of doing that along with others, and we're just excited to add him to the group.
Awesome. Thank you.
Jeff.
So you guys are no longer targeting a closer, or you're going to go with these guys that you have, or how do you view the need for a closer?
Yeah, Jeff, I don't think it's a specific need per se. I think it's something that we're going to entertain if those opportunities present themselves. But we do feel we have multiple relievers right now in the pen that are capable of closing, and we'll let that sort itself out. But I wouldn't say that we are actively looking for any specific role at this point, more just adding quality to the pen if possible.
This, I mean, Chris Martin looks like of all you have assembled, the guy who would be a front runner to do that. Do you agree or disagree?
I think he's certainly in the candidate pool. I think we've got several that, as mentioned prior, have finished games in the past and pitched in leverage. And I think his track record is as strong as any, and his success is up there with the very best relievers in baseball. So I think it's possible, but we'll continue to sort that out as we go through the offseason.
Thanks.
Steven.
Hey Ross, I'm still trying to figure out who used to say there's never enough pitching, right? So
Yeah, that's a CY phrase I stole from him. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Hey, you're learning fast, right? Hey, just I know another local guy, and I know it's not just about there being from here that you guys are wanting to sign these guys, but what is it about signing local players and guys that have grown up in this market that you like?
Well, I mean, I think it's a shared attraction, so to speak. I think these players engage with us as well as we engage with them. But I think for those that understand Texas baseball and understand what it means to pitch for your hometown team and the Rangers franchise, like what we've accomplished in recent years and what we think we're going to continue to accomplish here in the future. I think, local players want to be a part of that. And we're an attractive destination. We feel lucky and blessed for that. And we're excited to add winners like Chris to the mix.
What was the conversation like about how, or what can you say about how he's different now than when he was with the Rangers the first time around?
It's a great question. I wasn't as close to him at
Right.
the time when he was here in prior years, but I just think he's grown and evolved over the years. I mean, basically the majority of his career as a major league pitcher has happened in his 30s, and he now recently had his fourth child, and I think just that natural evolution and maturity and just stabilizing over time. It's been fun to watch him evolve over the years, and I'm sure you all are familiar with the incredible story that got him back into professional baseball to begin with. And it's just, I actually saw him very early on. I missed him in independent ball, but I saw him when he had entered back into affiliated ball before he went to Japan. And it's just remarkable to see what, perseverance and dedication can do. And I'm happy for Chris and excited to reunite with him here in Arlington.
Okay, I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Jared's smokehouse is right now behind him. So
We'll go back to Jeff.
Oh,
Sorry, Jared.
all good.
We'll go to Jeff.
How does a guy like Mark Church figure into the bullpen mix? Um, a guy who has closer stuff, but is young and a little inexperienced.
Yeah, I mean, I think not specific to closer, Jeff, but just in the bullpen mix, like, Mark, what he did when he came back here at the end of the season, going into the fall league, um, some of the stuff that he possesses and his abilities, I think he's going to come into camp with the opportunity to make a strong impression on our group. Should it ultimately lead into a higher leverage spot, we'll see. But at first and foremost, we want Mark to continue his development path and continue to build towards being a mainstay in our major league bullpen before we talk about maybe higher leverage spots here in the future. But certainly capable of that. We think we got a few internal candidates that are on roster, maybe not as established as the veterans that we think could continue to take steps forward in 2025.
Steven, you have anything else? All right. Jared and his smokehouse.
Not a smokehouse. Hey Ross, I'm curious. I noticed that Martin's swing and miss or sorry, chase ability on all four pitches kind of unique. Obviously guys maybe have one or two that get a high chase. And I'm just curious in y'all's evaluation, what it is about his pitching profile that maybe allows him to have success in that department.
Yeah, great question, Jared. I think it starts with his ability to get ahead. He's a strike thrower, and he has four pitches as a reliever, which is not something that you typically see for too many relievers. So he's got multiple ways in which he can get you out. And I think his past experiences, as a starter in the minor leagues and the innings that he accumulated, I think he really learned the art of pitching, and has applied it, as he gets even more seasoned and more experience in his career in multiple ways in which he can get you out. And I think chase is a byproduct of him getting ahead and having quality pitches, and he knows what he's doing and how to use them. So I think he's able to induce chase by putting himself in fortuitous counts and creating count leverage by getting ahead of hitters and utilizing his full mix.
Thanks, Ross.
Yeah.
Back to Jeff.
Do you guys remain in the market for a starting pitcher not named Roki Sasaki?
I think we are in the market for any players that can upgrade our club at any point. So I wouldn't say we're actively pursuing that per se, but we are continuing to have ongoing conversations. And, if there's the opportunity to add that type of player, we will most certainly explore that.
I guess again, you never have enough pitching. You guys know what you're up against with starters coming off of injuries and perhaps the inning shortfalls. So just, do you feel like you need more piggyback guys, multiple inning relievers to finish off the bullpen? And do you feel like Milner and I don't know, Armstrong, they seem to be able to do that?
Yeah, I think some of the guys we've added for those reasons. I think Chris is a little bit different that he's typically pitched one inning in his career, one inning later leverage. But between Hobie, Jacob Webb, Robert Garcia, and countless others, Sean Armstrong, these guys have pitched multiple innings, many times in their career and in of recent years. And we think with some of our younger arms as well, potentially starters that are squeezed out of the rotation or maybe on option, that they may be able to provide that length as well. So once again, you can never have enough pitching, but we do think that we've created both stability and optionality with some of our pitching options, and in doing our very best with guys coming off injury to balance and toe the line of, setting them up for success and monitoring that workload while also having viable options that could step in and perform at a high level when need be.
Um, is baby number two arrived yet, or are you still awaiting that one with your wife?
We are still waiting.
Okay.
We are hopefully within 2 weeks this will happen.
Perfect timing.
I know. It's gonna be the last time. We had a trade deadline baby the first go around, so I think this one's gonna be a little bit more fitting on the baseball schedule.
Okay, good work. Good
Greatest
plan, guys.
Hey, but she was the greatest acquisition of all time. I want that noted on record.
All right.
Kennedy.
Capricorn baby, I'll say. Speaking of Roki Sasaki, I guess, is there any update on, I guess, his process at this point? I know his agent talked a couple weeks ago just about how that's going. Is there an update on you guys' end?
Yeah, no update, Ranger specific at this point. We're still in the process of awaiting guidance from their camp on what the next steps are. So kind of in a similar spot to where we left it last time.
Awesome. That's all I had. Thanks.
Sean.
Just generally speaking, between the bats you've brought in, re-signing Evaldi, filling out the bullpen. I know the offseason is not over yet, but how satisfied are you guys in totality with what you guys have done this winter?
Yeah, I think we feel good about the moves that we've made, and where we've positioned this club, especially adding that group of players back to what we believe are a hungry group that are ready to compete for a championship and have won a championship in the past. It's a great core, and we were able to satisfy several of our needs that we outlined at the start of the offseason. And, as mentioned before, we're never finished, and we're going to continue to explore every option to upgrade the club further. But we feel pretty good with where the club's at right now, and we're excited to get going.